Today in Azraq, more than 40,000 refugees are living, and 10,500 shelters have been built to accommodate them. But because we are living in a very harsh climate, it's extremely challenging for us to find the right model of shelter to guarantee adequate living conditions for them. During the summer, we can even reach more than 45 degrees Celsius, with also extreme wind during the winter time. Within UNHCR, we do have the expertise to build camps with a team of very strong and knowledgeable engineers, but we do not have necessarily the building science expertise. Thanks to the support of University of Bath, we have been able to analyze the thermal condition of the shelter.
The advantages of the T-shelter is low cost compared with another type of shelter, and also it's quick to build, and also the last thing is you can reuse the material in different locations and dismantle this material and reuse it again. The disadvantage of T-shelter is the temperature inside the shelter. Azraq camp is located in Jordan, is in a very hot area, and we found that the temperature inside the shelter is very hot.
One of the main goals of this project is to identify innovative solutions to very difficult challenges that we are facing on a daily basis.
How do you improve thermal comfort in the hot desert where the temperatures in summer reach 45 degrees C? The UNHCR asked us to improve the thermal comfort of steel shelters in the Jordanian desert. They gave us a compound of 12 shelters. One of them we kept as a control. The 11 others, we improved the performance through the application of basic building science and simple engineering. I'm standing in one of 10,500 shelters built here at Azraq. This is the standard shelter that a refugee receives when they arrive at the camp. It measures 6 meters by 4 meters by 2 meters tall, has one window and one door to the outside. There is also a small kitchen extension, the same width but 2 meters wide, which has a door entering from this room into the kitchen space itself. Into this shelter, we have done nothing in terms of experimental modifications, other than fit some sensors. We retrofitted 11 interventions in this compound. We used a desert cooler. We ventilated the wall cavity. We fitted the insulation as it was intended to be. We've applied additional ventilation, and we've added additional insulation. We've used thermal mass both by cavity fill and sandbags. We've used roof shade at different thicknesses above the roof to see what effect that has. In one shelter we used a combination of all of these measures. We've also used an earth tube and a different type of insulation. So what result do we get from these interventions? Well, they vary. Some were disappointing. The ventilated wall cavity was just the same temperature, if not slightly warmer than the control, and we have to look into why that happened. Other interventions gave us great results. The desert cooler up to 8 degrees cooling in the July temperatures when it's 45 degrees outside, that's 37 odd degrees inside. That's like walking into air-conditioned offices. The other interventions range between that scale, but 3 or 4 degrees cooling is noticeable, particularly with the thermal mass and a combination and the roof shade measures. And that in itself makes a big difference in offsetting those harsh daytime temperatures that the refugees here in Azraq have to endure on a daily basis. Some of the interventions that we've demonstrated here are obviously going to improve thermal comfort, and the UNHCR has taken those ideas and those solutions and have already rolled them out in a current shelter build, particularly the thermal break and overlapping the insulation. And in the recent months, 60 new shelters have been built with these techniques.
لا بالصيف شوف حارة بالصيف وبالشتاء يعني باردة صرنا نحط العازل هذا مشان تدفى بالشتاء.
The University of the Bath compound, which consists of 12 shelters with 12 solutions of improving the temperature inside the shelter. This is one of the big innovation projects for improving the T-shelter, not only at Jordan level, even at global level, how you can improve the type of the shelter based on the very hot climate with different kind of options. As a civil engineer, I know now how to improve the shelter with a different kind of improving the thermal condition for the shelter. And actually they really they add a lot of value for the living condition inside the camp.
We're looking at the data gathered here at the hospital in Azraq camp to see whether there's a link between increased morbidity and increased illness in these summer months when it's 45 degrees plus in the desert. If we can show that correlation, we can use that as a lever to justify additional expenditure in improving thermal comfort, because we know that will lead to a greater saving in the hospital budget here in the camp. How do we really have impact on the lives of those Syrian refugees living right next to this experiment? Well, the UNHCR have their annual operational review, and we've been asked to feed into that this year with the cost and the benefit of each of the 11 interventions we've trialled, so that they can decide what budget they can allocate to upgrade and improve the thermal performance by rolling out a retrofit program next year into the existing shelters.
The impact of this project is crucial for the better living condition of the refugees in the coming years. Thanks to the vital information given by the University of Bath, we will be able to develop our 2020 plan.
We've collected 12 months of data here at Azraq now, and we've applied simple building science with simple engineering in combination using simple tenets of insulation, reducing solar radiation through shading, thermal mass and ventilation. And all of those things combined have proven that we can reduce the temperatures of these shelters internally by as much as 8 degrees in some cases. And it's this simple approach that's going to have real impact on the lives of the refugees living here in Azraq, making their shelters more comfortable in the years to come.